Good evening, everyone. My name is Ann Winkle, and I just wanted to share with you a little bit about my e-portfolio for my master's degree in educational leadership and what I've learned on the process. So the beginning here is all the program information that you can sort through. I'm going to kind of scroll through that. And let's begin with information about myself. So first we have the artifact folder, which just has all my documents and all the hours that I got, pictures or um, slideshows or presentations that I made, videos. So just to prove that I did everything. And so that is all in here. And then all my slideshows, admin verification, and so on. We'll talk about my program completion timeline. And I promise the video works, but I will talk to you about it. So my journey in education, it began in probably 2005 when I decided I wanted to be a teacher in education. And then in 2009, I graduated from high school and decided to go to Wichita State, mainly because they had a good program where I could get into the schools and start learning and make money because Wichita Public Schools is such a huge district. So once I had so many undergrad hours, I was able to get in there before my student teaching. I graduated in 2013 with my bachelor's degree in secondary math education. And then in 2015, I decided I want to get a master's. I tried school counseling twice. Actually, I went to Wichita State, I believe, for a semester and a half, and it wasn't working out. Some stuff happened in my life. Then I decided to try at Fort Hays State because I knew it was all online, except for like 2 times you had to meet in person. So I decided I did that for another semester, and then I was like, nope, still not working, not my thing. And then COVID happened in 2020, and I was like, well, let me try something different. I really want to get a master's to continue my learning and maybe get to the next level at some point in my life. And so in summer 2022, I decided to enroll in Fort Hays State because I heard it was a great program and all online again, so very convenient. And that's when I enrolled and began. And then this December, I hope to graduate with my master's in educational administration. Teaching responsibilities. I started at Wichita Public Schools, taught seventh grade math. Then I went and I was at Truesdale Middle School. And then I went and I did eighth grade, Algebra 1. And then in 2018, I switched and I went to Wichita Heights, so high school time. I taught Algebra 1 and I coached as well, assistant girls basketball. And then I was there for 3 years. And then in 2021, I moved to Texas and I am currently at Nelson Middle School. I taught 6th and 7th grade advanced math last year, and this year I'm just teaching 7th grade advanced math. And I am also 7th grade team lead and an admin intern this year. That is a little bit of my teaching responsibility timeline. Timeline within the program, I took 2 classes a semester and 1 every summer. And so I got through all of them. And again, I hope to be done this month, or it's the end of November. So December, fall of 2022. And I hope for my future that by 2024, if not sooner, I plan to take an admin type position. And then 2023, I might change districts unless that happens sooner, maybe figure out a new setting population that I can work with. And then by 2055 is when I put that I plan to retire within a 5-year span of 2055. Sorry, I think I said that wrong. So that's my program completion timeline. Goals for my life. I feel like I need to speed this up a little bit so I make time. Personal goals. I hope to get married, have our first child, buy a house in the next 5 years. And then 6-10 years out, hope to have 1 to 2 more kids, spend more time since I'm done with my master's. Once I take all my tests, to read more books and novels and just learn that way. And then beyond 10 years, I hope to get to travel the world and just help my children make decisions about their future by being supportive and providing resources and support. Professional goals, 1 to 5 years. Of course, I wanted to complete this portfolio, graduate with my master's, pass my Kansas and Texas certification exams, and then start looking for an admin position. The next 6 to 10 years, I hope to have some sort of admin role like assistant principal in Frisco. And then mentor others that are working towards their admin degree to kind of pay it forward. And then beyond 10 years, I hope to, like I mentioned earlier, maybe switch districts in order to experience a new challenge and continue to grow in my field. I picked Fort Hays State because I had heard a lot about it. Cost wasn't comparable, and it was all online. Leadership philosophy. I am the philosophy to serve first, lead second. I'm very big on serving others, helping others. I believe that people respect their leaders when they feel that they are supported by them, that they love them, and in turn, they will perform better for the whole team. A couple other points here. I'm very excited I took what I want to be able to expand what I can help, the amount of people I can help. So that's why I feel like I went into administration, because now I won't just help a classroom, I'll help a whole school. And then I also want to help kids in all realms of life, not just math class. So that is another reason why I kind of picked to be an administrator, to help them with their self-esteem, emotional issues, other things that administrators can help with. I also want to help teachers and staff members become the best they can as a teacher or whatever staff position we have, custodians, secretary, admin assistants. And I want them to keep learning and gain that growth mindset that I have gained from my working with different leaders. And I feel like this quote meant a lot to me. Leadership, you can't really teach it, you just got to learn it, which is why I feel like our admin intern and all the hours I was required to get for Fort Hays State was really the most important part of my whole entire degree, because I learned from leaders, and that's the best way to learn. So, plan of study. Like I said earlier, I began in 2020 of the summer, and I took 2 classes a semester, one at a time. Let's kind of skim through this. And then my resume hits my high points. Bachelor's, master's, taught in 259, Wichita Public Schools, and you can kind of go through those. I was part of the building committee. I was a closed scholarship recipient at Wichita State, which helped me with student loans. I didn't have a lot. And so that's kind of a quick glance at my resume. Just want to get to these activities. Annotated bibliography. So these articles were extremely useful. I feel like some really important ones that pointed out cultural competency was a big thing, and understanding you have to understand your own culture and see your own biases and stereotypes. So really reflecting and looking over yourself, was a huge piece of cultural competency. So before you can accept anyone else, you have to stop and look at yourself. What does your culture look like? How do others look? What are your biases that you might not even notice? So that was a big one that I read on. Let me just kind of scroll through here. Standardized tests, always going to be a big topic. How can we make them better? Do they really show what a kid knows? It's just one piece of data. What else do we need? Do we need to make them more than multiple choice? That was in a couple articles, but how do you grade those objectively without putting your own opinion into that? And then how to use data correctly, like being data led or being data focused was another big thing. Are we just looking at data, Are we actually making a change and using strategic planning? That was another thing that was really talked about in order to make change and improve schools and meet our goals. Another one was teacher morale, which means a lot right now. How do we increase teachers staying in the classroom and not leaving the field of education? Rigor, big buzzword right now in education. How do we make more rigorous lessons? What do we need to do in order to make them so kids aren't just being able to memorize and spew out? How do they understand what they're learning and why is it important? Those were some of my main ones. And then there was one that talked about security in classrooms in the school to prison pipeline, which was very interesting to me, and how we have to be careful with just arresting kids in school. Are we arresting kids for just breaking dress code? We got to be lenient. Otherwise, these kids are just going to look at the police, and it's going to be a prison or school to prison pipeline, and we have to avoid that at all cost. Then you have my activity log sheet here. And you can see how I have all my hours, and I go across. all my activities and hours. Let's go ahead and go to district here, get to the good stuff. So I'm going to highlight like 2 or 3 on each one of these for you, some of the ones that meant the most to me. This Aspiring Leadership Academy was a district activity I did here in Frisco. I felt like I really learned my platform as a leader. What are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? What kind of leader am I? There's all kinds of types. How am I going to build a leadership team when I become a leader one day? That activity meant a lot to me. The district advisory council, where literally there were community members, teachers, staff from the whole district, and we talked about important things. There was 5 committees like teacher and learning, building capital, projects, maybe it was project capital projects, my bad, and teaching and instruction, teaching and learning. So we talked about all those things. We had subcommittees. It was very informational, especially when I was new to the district. I learned a lot quickly about what this district is all about. So those were some of my district activities. Elementary. I know I love you, little bit emoji. Making this how to review data and kind of make a plan in order to improve a system, a program. Coming up with this process that can be used for any subject, any level. I did it for specifically elementary, and how to use it in order to improve, whether, again, it's a class, a program, so on and so forth. Don't want to play the video. How to make ethical decisions. Big deal. That was also talked about in my articles. Came up with a process for how to make ethical decisions. Targeted tutoring happened when I was in Wichita. We offered tutoring to elementary kids in order to help fill the gaps that had occurred during COVID. And I helped set it up, contact parents, get all the information we needed. And that was in the middle of COVID. This vertical alignment and how we took standards that they learn in elementary math and how that pertains to middle school math and high school math. So really talking and having conversations with the elementary teachers about what they teach and how does it go all the way up to calc. So that was very important in seeing how our instruction is supported all the way throughout their kids' academic career. And then, I have so many good ones. The KEEP evaluation for the SPED candidate, I did an elementary teacher, and that was very neat because, again, it was someone I didn't even know, so there was no biases. It was just straight, how was she teaching? I really liked that. I learned a lot, especially from a SPED perspective. Secondary activities. So we have looking over mission and vision, analyzing different schools' missions and vision statements, and looking at the one I had at Heights. Professional norms, Sunshine Committee. This is what I'm doing right now at Nelson Middle School, and trying to boost teacher morale, have a supportive school culture. I've planned lots of different events, popcorn bar, coffee bar, just different socials in order to keep everyone happy and kind of keep everyone in that family feeling. Building committee was another one I've been a part of in a secondary setting. Data talks, we would break down how we did on all the standards. What do we need to do for intervention? What do we need to do for enrichment? Who taught it best? What did they do differently? Learning from each other, having that reflection time. During COVID, we met the need of our community. Our kids needed Wi-Fi and Chromebooks and computers, so I helped organize and pass out all those resources and materials that kids would need in order to be successful. I helped build the master schedule at Nelson Middle School last year and made sure that we had enough teachers. We had class sizes were equal, very much a jigsaw puzzle, and making sure all the teachers had the right plan time, had the right collaboration time, and that numbers weren't like uneven, unbalanced. And then team lead, I've done a lot in terms of communicating with my team, at least twice a week, 3 times a week sometimes. Relationships and learning, that's another buzzword, at least here in Texas, and using building relationships comes first before we can do any kind of discipline. So I presented on that at my school. And then we have administrative verification documents from secondary and another secondary, and then I'm waiting on my elementary one still. And that is, oh, sorry, my program reflection. I really thought that this would be different. We would have way more group assignments and projects, and that's not all what this program was about. Whether that's good or bad is one's opinion. We did a lot more making presentations, taking what we learned and making it for something that I can use now, which was very, very helpful. And then I thought when I would do my practicum hours, I could just do it whatever I wanted, like just go with principal for like weeks on weeks on weeks. And I had to be very specific and intentional on what I watched my principal do or my assistant principal and who I learned from and what it meant. So very much great experience, and I would never change for anything. So hope you learned a little bit about my program and what I learned in this program, and hope you have a great evening.